10 billion won donation ceremony? My God. All because of her.
날 이렇게 새롭게
Hello and welcome back to Actually Let's Talk About It with me, your host Lily, and today I will be reacting to episode 5 of Dr. Cha. As I said before, I really am loving this series. I'm loving the drama. I'm loving her leaving her husband because in the last moments of episode 4, she put all the dots that she was getting together and was figuring out that her husband had given the bracelet that he was saying was for her birthday, which is 2 months from the time period we're in now, that there was already a similar bracelet on the mistress's hand. Okay, she clocked that while they was trying to revive a patient, and then she fell out because she actually had her hands on his body while they was trying to give him the electric shot of life. And so we're gonna see what's gonna happen here. Mr. Finance Surgeon, aka Dr. Gim, is still that one. He is still my pick, and I'm really hoping that that they don't mess up the writing and try to put them together weirdly as a couple, like try to keep Dr. Cha with her low-level cheating ass husband, who we now know has a illegitimate child with his mistress. I really hope they don't do that because it would just be so hypocritical and stereotypical if they try to like make her be like the long-suffering wife and she just forgives his cheating, lying, conniving ass. I would be so disappointed in the whole institution. However, we don't know yet. So I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. However, I did just now realize that the woman that plays Dr. Cha, and I think her name is pronounced Junhua, I might be pronouncing it correctly, but she is the same actress that I loved. And it's translated in English, it's called A Witch's Love. And it has Bok Seo-joon in it in like his first role, I think, after he got out of the military. I could be wrong about that. But she was the main lead in that one. And I love that K-drama. Like it was breaking down a lot of walls there. And so I can't believe, like I knew I recognized her, but now I know exactly where she's from now. So she was from that show. And I think it was called Always a Witch if you watched it on Viki, which is where I watched it, but it was awesome. I love that K-drama. You gotta check that out because Dr. Cha, she got range. And apparently she is a well-renowned singer, actress, and she is like the it woman of Korea. So yeah, I just thought y'all need to know a little bit more there because I just found that out because I was doing a little research. So yeah. And I knew where I'd recognize the husband from. I believe he was on a show called Sky Castle. So yeah, I was like, okay. Because he'd be giving comedic and thematic and it's giving. But yes, we're going to get straight into this reaction here for Dr. Cha episode 5. And a quick patron shout out goes out to Keisha L. Once again, thank you so much for being a patron. It is really appreciated. And if y'all might notice, I'm not wearing my glasses today. Like, they right here though. Like, they right here. It's just that I don't need them to see because I can see things up close. It's just things far away. I really need them when I'm driving or if I'm riding my bike. Those kind of activities, I don't need them in day-to-day life. I just have them on when I'm doing videos sometimes. So I can see exactly like the counter because I record and I can see the counter, like how many minutes it's been. So that's really what I'm using it for, just to make sure that it's actually on and recording. But, I'm like trying to do a few videos without my glasses on because I don't need them like that. And I'm just acting like I do. But yeah, they're far away. I can see things up close. It's things far away. Like if you're waving at me from afar, I possibly could see you, but I won't really be able to see who you are. That kind of thing. So yeah. It's just one of the wonderful things. Luckily, we caught that in high school, but yeah, it's been glasses ever since. So yes, enough about me though. We're gonna get straight into this reaction, and if you're watching this on YouTube, do not forget to give it a good thumbs up, and to also comment below what your favorite scene is or what your theories are about how this season is gonna go for Dr. Cha, the series. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe as well because we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And yeah, without further ado, we're going to get straight into this reaction now. Let's go.
연인 사이에도 엄연히 가까우로 존재한다는 거.
Oh, I love it.
더 좋아하는 쪽이 늘 아니겠어?
Oh, I don't think so. I think you like him just as much as he likes you. Honey, it's very obvious.
심정지 상태셨는데요.
그게 말이야 이
What out-of-body experience.
참 희한한 경험을 다 알지 뭐야.
자기도 내 목숨 거둘 배짱 없었어요.
아
He just wanted to see himself that she was okay. Oh, he's such a romantic.
아, 미안해. 엄마가 지금 너무 피곤해가지고. 우리 어디까지 얘기했지? 됐어. 나한테 관심 없는 엄마가 무슨...
He ain't gonna be talking to you like that no much further, my good sis. Because it ain't giving respectful. Because it's giving very much disrespectfully. And he need to come to you with the respectfully, okay? That's all I'm saying. It's the one he's playing in installments that's not even paid off. That he bought other homegirls with full cash money. This man is weird. You see, this is why I don't like this man. Because he out here talking to our good sis like he ain't a deadbeat father. Like all you do is go to work and go home. I don't ever see you talking to your kids outside of critiquing them for their life choices. From your son to your daughter. She don't even come to you for nothing. Because that's how unreliable you are. Like what? You trying to teach her how to be a good parent as a very unsatisfactory parent? Like the bar is in hell in terms of his parenting. And he's trying to come to our good sis, the Dr. Cha, the woman who scored 49 out of 50, with how she needs to improve as a mother, when he can't even measure up to her at all within the last few months in terms of what he's done for his kids as a father. And he got 3 and she only got 2. Like, there is so much more I can get into. I could ramble all day about it, but I'm not going to because that might be petty. And that's all I'm gonna say about it. But he got some nerve trying to come to our good sis with this mess. And that's all I'm gonna say about it. End of rant. The rant is over now. He just continues to be a disappointment, and I don't think he'll ever not be this whole series. Oh, I was right. He is an abusive husband. And that's why she had to poison him. Because he was hurting her and the daughter. And the way that sometimes these local and federal / provincial laws fail women and people who are domestic violence survivors and victims is truly insane to me. Like the fact that somebody who is a victim of domestic violence can go to jail for killing the person who was violent against them, yet you never want to bring any charges to the person who did the wrong in the very first place, who initiated that response. They never want to try to show leniency to the victims of SA or domestic violence the way that they need to in terms of these laws. They just want to put them in jail. She's literally sitting in jail for poisoning an abuser. And this really, it's crazy. It's like there was another situation, but in America, with a Black young girl. And it's a completely different scenario because in Korea, they don't have racism embedded into the laws the way they do in the United States. And they don't have a criminal justice system that's rooted in racism the way we do here in the States. But I'm not going to y'all can look up the case. And there was this young Black girl who was a victim of SA and human trafficking. And she killed the man who got her into it. And they put her in jail for almost 2 decades over his death. And she fortunately got released because powerful people were able to hire lawyers to relook at her case, and the judge pardoned her. But the fact that she was in jail at all for something she had no control over, for being a victim and a survivor of her abuse, Yet the perpetrator of the violence and the people who are a part of the human trafficking and the sex trafficking of her face no time in jail for their part in it, but they wanted to criminalize and brutalize the victim. That's such a weird thing, especially when it comes to young women and women in general, about how these laws are so sexist and patriarchal. It's dysfunctional in the way that they're written most of the time because they're written by men, that they don't even take instances like this into account. So, like, yeah, that's what I was thinking of, because I'm like, I knew she was in jail because he was abusive. And I knew she shouldn't be in there. I already knew when I saw the older woman, they were like, oh, she went to jail for poisoning her husband. Women don't do things like that unless there is a history of abuse. Because I'm like, in the United States, I have a grandmother who is from the South. And the way that they would have to deal with certain types of men, whether they were men who were pedophilic or men who were into SA activities or men who were abusive, was through poisoning their food. And that was the legends. I don't know nobody directly, but there were legends in her town and in the surrounding towns of women who would have to do that. And I'm like, these women were poisoning their husbands because they were good people. And I'm like, and we need to, as a society, think about why are we enabling abuse when we should be deconstructing it and making sure the people who are perpetuating the violence are behind bars. That's it. That's just what I thought. My 2 cents about it.
같은데. 맞습니다. 제가 좀 용감하죠. 실력이 받쳐주니까요.
I love to see it.
야, 영어 상방. 표현이 좋다. 역사 해봐도 돼? 그럴까요?
다 절제하게 될 줄 알았는데 이게 웬일이에요. 학문 보존하게 되신 거 진심으로 축하드립니다.
잘 돈 많아. 세탁소에서 줄여버릴까? 네.
아 정말요?
I love it.
제가 열어드릴게요. 보시겠어요?
너 서인우 교수님 막 뛰어와서 걱정하고 난리도 아니었다.
쓸데없는 소리들 하지 마. 두 사람은 의대 동기야. 아는 체제 그 정도 걱정 못해?
Yeah. Oh, she said you shouldn't have had me then. Okay, y'all, like I had to pause it here because everything that Unso is saying is true. Like she said here, you shouldn't have had me. Because every person who commits adultery and who is the mistress of an adulterous person or whatever the male, well, you would still be a mistress even if you were a dude. So you're still the mistress. You're still the other person, the other man, the other woman. You're still not the spouse. So either way it go, you still that other one. You the side piece. You will never be the main course, which is the spouse's spot. You will never be elevated to that position because you've already shown that you're willing to accept less, even though that's not what you deserve. And there was a quote, and I keep saying this quote in different reactions, but it keeps ringing true in The Perks of Being a Wallflower. And one of the main characters said this to Emma Watson's character. And he basically said, we accept the love we believe that we deserve. And it's so very obvious that this woman right here believes that she deserves less than. And even in terms of Dr. Cha, subconsciously, both of these women believe that they deserve a man who doesn't really love them, who's self-centered, who's overly ambitious and yet doesn't have the talent to match that ambition, and believes that they should settle for him in some capacity instead of leaving him completely alone and forging their own path. And they're both at that crossroad, both Dr. Cha and this mistress, where they're holding on to a man who clearly doesn't love either of them. He loves himself. He doesn't even love his children. He doesn't even love his mother. He loves nothing but himself, his reputation, and his work. That's it. And that's all. That's all he will ever love. And people like this are not going to change. Children didn't change him. And this man has had 3 kids. 2 women that he's been romantically involved with. And none of that has changed him into being a better person. He has still chosen to be the same lowlife he was in college in his adult years. Because he was a lowlife back then too. I mean, like, he did cheat on you. And unprotected, may I add, and got the person he cheated on you pregnant, married her, and you still want to be the dumb one who reconnects with that man, sleeps with him unprotected, has your illegitimate baby, but this time he's a married man, so it makes it much worse than if you're just boyfriend and girlfriend. Because now that's covenant you're messing with, and that's legal that you're messing with. That means the country that you're in recognizes these two as being married. You have no legal right to this man or anything he owns in the country of South Korea at all. At all, when you're not married to them. She has no power here. He holds all the power over this woman who's the mistress. And I'm like, and he cheated on you before and married the person he cheated on you with and had his first child with them. And then you want to be the dumb one, the dumb woman, and get with him, sleep with him unprotected, have a child with him. And you literally waited 18 years since you had this child, and he still hasn't said not one time at all, ever in the course of this show, that he is going to leave Dr. Cha for this woman. He has simply said that he, quote unquote, loves this woman more, but he doesn't love you enough in the last 18 years alone, since you had your daughter with him, to choose you. And I'm like, if that's not telling you enough about his true intentions, his love for you is superficial. He loves that you let him walk over you. He loves that you love him enough to put your life on hold, to risk your reputation, and to waste your good years on him. That's what he loves about this mistress. He loves that she wasted her entire young life on him, clinging to him, when she could have been married happily with a better man and with kids who could have that better man's last name. And I'm like, That's all I'm going to say, because it just doesn't pay. It just doesn't pay. And I'm glad that her daughter's getting in her face, and you can cry and be all teary-eyed because you are the villain just as much as he is, because you're complacent in your own setback. You literally have put your life on hold. Your father has estranged himself from you over the shit you're doing with this married man. And rightfully so. Because I couldn't support you as a parent. Because I didn't raise you this way. She has no excuse to be this way, y'all. Because I'm like, I get how Dr. Cha was kind of clinging to him when she was young. Because she was raised by her mom. And she wasn't the most wealthiest, but she was just incredibly smart. And that one slip up with him caused her to get pregnant. She probably didn't believe in abortion. It was very much not in that term of South Korean society back then. So she really probably couldn't get an abortion, depending on when she found out. But this woman comes from prestige. You come from money. And you mean to tell me all that prestige, 2-parent household, and you settle for a loser? Well, you could have had a winner. You waste your good years on a loser who doesn't want to divorce his wife and never will. Dr. Cha will most likely have to initiate the divorce proceedings. You wasted your life on a man who doesn't love you at all. On a man who isn't even there for your daughter at all. Who is basically leaving her fatherless to society. For what? Out of love? What can you love about a person like that? And it says a lot about how she views herself. Because you view yourself as less than when you stay with an adulterer. You view yourself as less than when you partake in adultery when you know full well that they're married. Point blank and period. You're saying, I don't have security in myself. I don't love myself. Because if you loved yourself, you wouldn't accept this type of love because it's selfish. It's warped. And it is not true love. It's wasting your time. And she's wasted her time for 20 years. And odds are, if Dr. Cha doesn't divorce her husband, she'll waste her time until the end of her life on this man. Unfortunately. And I'm like, and it shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't allow yourself, especially as a woman, you should be in touch with your divine feminine enough to know that if it's not this man, it will be another. Because you don't need to keep going back to someone who's going to emotionally abuse you. Because that's what he's doing. He's leading you on. He's saying, oh, I love you, but I'm not going to leave my wife for you. But I love you. So we can have what we have. We can have stolen moments, hidden glances at work, and meet up when we can. He's gaslighting her, and she's let him gaslight her for the last 20 years. And I'm just like, girl, you got to get up. Because I could be more empathetic if she came from a poor background. You come from money. You come from prestige. And you're choosing to be in filth by choice with this man. You're choosing to be the mistress of this low-level man by choice. It's not because you didn't have the opportunities. It's not because you didn't have the money. It's not because you came from a broken home. You're just choosing to lose all in the name of love. And that's the most ridiculous part of this woman's story. I wanted to have something as a token of the relationship that she had with him. She had her daughter out of selfishness because she knew that this would come out one day. And you did not care. You did not care because I'm like, we don't blame the kids that are products of adultery. We looking at the parents because y'all knew that once this gets out, how this can impact them. They could become the joke of the whole high school if it gets out that her father is a married man that works at the hospital and her mother is his ex. Like, kids talk.
다시 망가질 수 있어요. 지금 괜찮다고 마음 놓고 있으면 안 돼요.
Let her know, doctor.
너무 열심히 하지 말라고 하는 게 맞는 건지 모르겠지만 본인 건강이 제일 중요합니다.
정말 서 있기가 힘들어서요. 1시간 안에 다른 동료가 와주기로 했으니까 그때까지만 부탁드리겠습니다.
지금 바로 강남병원에 좀 다녀와. 내 연구 관련 서류가 그쪽에 있는데 지금 가져와야겠어. 연락처 하나 줄 테니까 그 친구한테 받아오면 돼.
아, 저기.
This woman is dumb. She a dumb mistress. Oh no, she is her fault. It's one of your people's fault that were the professors. If she hadn't distracted her and tried to tell her she needs to go to the hospital, she wouldn't have left her for a moment to talk with her.
배울 게 많은 1년 차일 뿐입니다, 교수님.
And it wasn't her incompetence that the patient escaped. It was because one person on your team, who's a leader of your department, was trying to get her to do favors for work that she didn't need delivered to her. Oh, he gonna get that woman in trouble. Yo, once Dr. Choi tells him what happened, he gonna run the security footage because he's a VIP person at this hospital. And when he finds out that she was distracted by that female that's the mistress, oh goodness, oh goodness, oh goodness. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I'm like, the reason why I referred to her as a female was because when you're a woman who's already doing bad things intentionally that negatively impact another woman over a man, you a female in my eyes. Because I don't equate you with women. Because real women don't do scandalous things like that. And the fact that you didn't even ask who her patient is or let her explain that that patient was an inmate, and she can't just let anybody handle her because the guard specifically told her to watch her for the next hour until the next guard could come, and you out here trying to be spiteful, trying to get her to quit and trying to get her to slip up, all in the name of you having some alone time with your man at work, is really weird. It's very much female behavior, if you get my drift. 10 billion won donation ceremony? My God. All because of her. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Get your flowers, girl. Get your flowers. Yeah, she's the reason why he's standing there. Because if it wasn't for her fervency in making sure that he was going to be revived, he would have never been revived. That's the craziest part about this situation. If Dr. Cha hadn't been adamant about keep doing the compressions, and if she hadn't happened to have her two hands on him while the other doctor was doing the CPR, the reviving of him with the electric paddles, he wouldn't have came back. Dr. Cha deserved all her flowers.
저는 굴두고 지켜보겠습니다. 이런 인재를 놓치면은 이 병원은 미래가 없고
Oh,
이러한 병원도 다 회수할 작정이요.
oh, oh,
내가
yo. He said if you let her go, I'm taking back my 10 billion won.
확인할.
I love this. Her trifling ass husband and his little mistress, the male and female of it all, really thought that they had it. Really thought that they had her. But you can't play. You can't play a winner. Okay? Because you always gonna lose. Anywho, I'm like, I love this. I love this so much. I love what this man did because who would have thought 10 billion won? It's billions in Korean won, obviously. South Korean won. It's billions. So he's a billionaire in South Korea. Possibly even a trillionaire if he has way more than that. But 10 billion won is a little bit less than 10, I think a little bit less than $10 billion or a little bit more. So the fact that he says he's going to donate that money to the hospital, but if anything is to happen to her and she doesn't become a professor or a specialist or she quits prematurely and they lose her talent, he said, I'm taking that money back because the hospital has no future without her. And that's on period. I love this. I love this. I don't got nothing much else to say because I think I've said it throughout the reaction, what I need to say. But I'm so excited for episode 6. So if y'all made it to the end of this video, you were watching on YouTube, do not forget to give the video a good thumbs up so it can reach more people because you know how the algorithm be algorithming. Anyway, and also comment what your favorite scene was if you watched the full episode somewhere else. And then also, if you are watching this on Patreon, thank you so much for being a patron. It is greatly appreciated. And I'll continue to bring more content to YouTube and Patreon very soon. And also don't forget to subscribe if you are on YouTube. Can't forget that because we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And every day we get a bit closer and closer and closer to bridging that gap. And then after that, we'll have other milestones. But for right now, it's 1,000. But yes, I am so excited for episode 6 and what it's going to bring and the revelations and whatnot. But until next time and until Dr. Choi episode 6 reaction, I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.